Hello guys, it's Jasper here at top10fragrances.com on a beautiful spring day, and I'm going to be talking to you today about a North American perfume which is not Bond number 9. No, we're talking about Ineke, and in particular we're talking about Hothouse Flower, which comes in this lovely simple box. Hope you can see that because I'm quite far from the camera this week. The bottle is very modern looking. I don't know if you can see, you've got little flowers and butterflies emblazoned on the side of it there, and the Ineke symbols right at the top in the cap of the bottle there. So let's talk about the house very briefly, and it was founded in 1996 by a lady called Ineke Ruland from Canada, who's now living in San Francisco. She spent time in Europe, in particular in London and in the Netherlands, before deciding to become a full-blown perfumeur, which is not an easy thing to do. She's then trained at ISIPCA, which is the world's only university-grade school for perfumery, before going down to Grasse to cut her teeth in the world of perfume proper. And I have to say that having trained the classic French way, she produces perfumes that are refined and elegant, but being a North American, she's added something else to the whole design of her perfumes. They're quite quirky and quite cool. And I think she pulled a masterstroke by actually opening her first boutique and actually trading out of San Francisco, because her perfumes kind of reflect the left field style of the city. They're kind of laid back in a North California kind of way, almost slightly hippie. Certainly unpretentious. If you go onto her website, you'll see that they're really quite cool fragrances without being in your face and without being haughty, which some French houses can be. Let's face it, that's very true. The name for this particular perfume comes from the fact that initially in the 19th century, under the Victorians, gardenia was imported from China. And us Brits, we call hot houses greenhouses, and they were put into what we call greenhouses in Kew Gardens, which were the first greenhouses or hothouses used in the world under the Victorians. So that's where the name comes from, which I think is quite clever. So let's talk about the notes in this particular perfume, and your opening notes are things like Earl Grey tea, how very Victorian, and green foliage. There's galbanum, there's fig, there's frankincense, and there's gardenia. And it's all about gardenia, this perfume. I think, to be honest with you, she's launched perfumes in an alphabetic sequence, and this is H, obviously starting A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H being the last one she's produced, and this is the most modern, or the latest perfume they produced, this particular house. And I have to say that they're all very clever. They all tend to be built around one particular flower, and this particular perfume is gardenia. So the base of this is gaiac wood, corn silk and musk, so it's a very subtle, not overly dry base on this perfume. And I think it's a perfume that would appeal to just about anybody, really. I don't think I would wear it because it's slightly too feminine for me, but I think if you are a guy who likes to wear florals, then you could certainly get away with it. So let's talk about how it smells. And being a soliflor, as I said before, all based around one flower, you would expect it to scream gardenia. But it's very clever, this. Initially you get a real greenness from this perfume. And there's almost a pear-like note there, which I guess comes from the fig. But it slowly mellows into a really creamy gardenia smell. Soft, incredibly soft. Actually, I have to say that this is probably the most balanced perfume I've ever smelt in my life. It's just so incredibly clever. It's not overly sweet or heady, but there is sweetness there. There's a slight sharpness as well with the opening, but it's not overly sharp. It's just so perfectly rounded. Gardenia. It is just gardenia. Absolutely stunning. Very sexy and very refined. I think it's the sort of perfume you could wear anywhere, really. You could wear this to the supermarkets. You could wear this to a nightclub. You could wear this to the office, to a restaurant, because it's not overly in your face. It's just so well balanced. It's very, very sexy and refined. I think it's the sort of perfume that would be ideal for spring or summer, but you could wear it because it's warm enough in the winter or in the autumn. Now, this was launched in 2012. The company was founded in 1996. And as I said, this is the latest release by this company. And I think they've learnt, as you do, through time. That's why it's so well balanced. The nose was Ineke herself. And as I said, the olfactory family for this is a soliflor, so it's all built around the gardenia. Longevity, well, I reckon probably about 7 or 8 out of 10. I can smell it on my wife in the mornings when she's worn it the night before. So yeah, it's a real long laster. Sillage, well, as I said, it's not so heavy that it's going to throw itself everywhere, but I would say it's probably a 6 out of 10. So if you're within 2 feet of somebody who wears this, you would certainly smell it. Now, it's difficult to get hold of this one, guys, because they don't hugely market themselves, which I think is probably quite a cool thing, because why would you want to be wearing the same perfume as somebody else in the same room? Surely that's what a niche perfume is all about, is smelling different to other people. So I think that's quite a good thing. But I know that you can get hold of this in some of the cooler shops in the big cities of the world, i.e. places like Liberty's in London, Bloomingdale's in New York. We bought this particular bottle from Colette in Paris, which, as I said to you on my review about Eau de Mortel, is probably one of the coolest shops I've ever been to in my life. It's just such a cool shop, and they've got some incredible perfumes there. So that's my review on this little number, which is Ineke's Hothouse Flower. And I have to say, there aren't many reviews on this stuff on the internet, so do yourself a favour and buy the sample box. The sample box actually costs about $25, and they give you a voucher for $25 on your next purchase, so it costs you nothing, and you can order that directly from Ineke themselves. So I'll see you next week with our next review.